Hello everybody, Mark, aka the Nerdy Punk, back again today for a new video. Before we get started today, cheers. And go Bears. The NFL season 2020 starts this weekend. Super pumped, so go Bears. Hopefully we'll have a good season this year. Not what this video is about at all, but just want to throw that in there. This video is actually about my maybe not so small obsession, if I can even lift this up, with Law and Order SVU. I have almost every single season on DVD, and today I wanted to kind of talk about the series, talk about the box sets, how they've changed over the years, and everything related to the longest running scripted primetime drama series of all time. Yes, it has that honor. So, my brief story with Law & Order SVU, and then I'll get into the box sets. So, about 9 months ago, in January of 2020, I moved to my new apartment. I live alone, and so I had a lot of time on my hands when I wasn't working. So, for some reason, I don't know why, it just kind of happened this way, I decided that one of the things that I was going to watch while I was, alone, home alone by myself, is Law & Order SVU. I had never seen the entire series before. I'd only seen episodes here and there. And so I figured it would be, there's plenty of seasons to watch. It'd be a good way to eat up some time. And it certainly has, because now that we are in September of 2020, I'm currently almost finished with season 14 of Law & Order SVU. And I have the rest of them on DVD now to finish throughout the rest of this year. And then I'll be completely caught up on the series, which is crazy to think. My story with Law & Order, the series as a whole, can go back to my childhood. Even at a relatively young age, like 12, 13 years old, I really loved watching murder mysteries and police procedural shows. And that is an influence from my family. A lot of my family members are really interested in those kinds of shows, and it's something that I watched growing up. I've told this story before on the channel, but I was actually a very terrified child. I got scared very easily. So I maybe watched some of those shows a little bit too young and ended up having nightmares and stuff because of it. But once I finally, matured into high school and stuff, I really got into the detective drama genre, shall I say. Also, with the Law & Order series in particular, I have an uncle who is a massive fan of the original series, and he would watch it all the time. He would occasionally watch SVU, so I have some good memories of watching the series with him as well. But for the most part, with SVU, I had either never seen these episodes before, or it had been so long since I'd seen them that I'd forgotten most of what went on. So, Law & Order SVU is about the Special Victims Unit, which handles rape and sexual assault cases, for the most part, in New York City. And one of the things that I really love about the Law & Order series as a whole is that it's very realistic, for the most part. There are some things that they embellish, but the whole idea with the series, to start with, is that the guy who created it, Dick Wolf, was using this ripped from the headlines style of cases. So like he would read about a real life case and then, change the details a bit, but use it to inspire an episode of his show. And that's kind of how it started, and because of that, it has a very realistic vibe. My problem with a lot of modern police procedurals, and this show has honestly kind of ruined some of those for me. But with a lot of these modern shows, it's like the police get into shootouts every single episode. Like, in reality, it's very rare, and thankfully it's very rare, that police ever have to fire their weapons. And this show is realistic when it comes to that. It's a very rare occurrence. Another thing that sets this series apart is that it really focuses equally on the district attorneys and the law judicial system that prosecutes these cases. So let's go ahead and look at the individual box sets. I have almost all 21 seasons here, so I'm not going to go into excruciating detail on all of them, but I'm going to kind of give you an idea of how they've changed over time, when they were released, that sort of thing. So this is the first season box set. If you're really interested in checking out this show and you've never seen it before, it is on Peacock, which is the new NBC streaming service. You can watch, I believe, all 21 seasons for free on Peacock. You have to watch with advertisements, though. But that's a good way to check it out. If you don't want streaming services, this box set is very cheap. You can find this for about $10, if that. As you get later on into the seasons, they become more expensive. And I got towards the end of the seasons where I was just buying them off of Amazon, and I was literally spending almost $30 on average. So it was a little expensive, but it was frankly the easiest way, because buying on eBay, I found a lot of bootlegs, and we're going to talk about that as well as we get down the road here. But here's the first season. Your main characters, I forget that girl's name. She was only in the first 2 seasons. That right there is Detective Brian Cassidy, and you may recognize him because he's the guy from the Allstate commercials. He's the guy who does the Mayhem Allstate commercials. But he was originally an actor on Law & Order SVU. And then the main characters who were there for a long time, you've got Captain Donald Cragen, played by Dan Florek, who was in the original Law & Order as well. You got Olivia Benson, portrayed by Mariska Hargitay, who's been the only character on the series for all 21 seasons. Christopher Maloney plays Elliot Stabler, who was on for 12 years. And then Richard Belzer plays John Munch, who was also in the series Homicide: Life on the Streets, which I have not seen. So there's the back. And this was the only set that had this big, bulky digipack packaging. So if you open it up, it has individual shots of the characters, and then it has individual discs. So there's 6 discs to my knowledge. But yeah, that's the first season. And then starting with the second season, they changed to these slimmer packaging. Of course, Ice-T is added to the cast in the second season, as well as the ADA Alex Cabot. I forget, Stephanie March, I believe, is the actress's name. They had a ton of people play the ADA character. Of course, the Sam Waterston, I believe is his name. He was on the original Law & Order as the ADA for forever. In this series, they kind of had a revolving door of them. But that's basically what the discs and cases look like, and these are on flipper discs. So for a few seasons, they were on flipper discs, which I hate because those discs get scratched so easily. But there's season 2, and then the only seasons that I do not have are seasons 3 and 4, which I believe are in similar type box sets. Sorry, I watched those seasons on Amazon Prime because for a while there they had the first 5 seasons on Amazon Prime. And then you skip to season 5, which is the only one that's in this style of packaging. So it's kind of like a digibook, but it's got this plastic sleeve. So when you look at the back, it's got episode listing, and then when you open it up, you got pictures, you got flipper discs, and then this one has an episode guide. So there's the episode guide, and then you have more details. Of course, you got a big picture of the cast. A great cast to this show, but then you have some detailed episode listing. I mean, it's literally got everything. It's got everyone who was in the episode, all the producers, the original air dates. It even has the ratings for that week, which this is one of the only box sets that I've ever had that actually shows the ratings for each individual week. That's crazy to me. And then starting with season 6, they came out with these style of packaging where it has the matte finish, the Law & Order Special Victims Unit logo is embossed, But basically they have the same style packaging. Of course the year is different, but it's and the color changes throughout the seasons. But this was the main style of packaging for years. And then you've got the back has a little description and some credits. And then you have 3 slim cases with the episode listing on the back. And then you got your discs. So no flipper discs from season 6 on, which is good. So I'll go ahead and run through these real quick because they all look the same. Again, they just change the color and change the pictures. So this is the first bootleg, and this is the most obvious bootleg I've ever seen. So when you're buying on eBay, you really run the risk of getting a bootleg. And bootleg is just something that's not been authorized. Like somebody made this themselves by copying the discs and copying the packaging and then sent it out, pretending that it's the real thing. But you can obviously tell, like, this is a shiny finish. The real ones have the matte finish. And then you can even tell they didn't get the color right. So the color kind of blends in towards the end of the thing there. So this is just a terrible quality bootleg. That's why I eventually stopped ordering on eBay. My thing with bootlegs, like, I'm not gonna, bother with returning one. I think I paid very little money for that, so I didn't feel like robbed or anything. My thing with bootlegs, though, as long as I can watch it, I don't care. Usually the quality is not as good, the video quality, but as long as I can see the episode, I'm not gonna fuss about it too much. You can also tell with bootlegs they have kind of a lower quality case. You can't really see it on camera, but you can feel it when you're holding the case, that the case is not as good a quality. And then you can also tell the printing is off. Looks very faded. And there's the disc. So that's season 7. Season 7 was a bootleg. And then, see if I can get these back in. And then we have season 8, which is real, authentic. Same style of packaging as the season 6 set. Season 9, I believe, is authentic. Of course, by this time you had pretty much the classic cast, with, of course, Stabler, Benson, and then B.D. Wong, who plays the psychiatrist, George Wong. He was a very famous character, very good character. You got, of course, Munch, and this was the second ADA, Novak, and then you have the Captain and Ice-T. So that's kind of like the classic cast that was together for a long time. Season 10, which I believe season 10 is also authentic. I think the next 2 are bootlegs. So yeah, season 10. Season 11 is a bootleg, but it's a much better quality bootleg. You can kind of tell that it's kind of faded, but it's in much better quality. And the way you can easily tell is when you pull out the cases. Again, the cases are off. The printing is slightly off. And then you can also tell that only the bootlegs have these flimsy cases that say DVD at the top. So yeah, this is a fake. But again, didn't pay much for it, so not overly obsessed about that. And then my season 12 copy is also a fake. The season 12 disc 5 was actually the only disc out of all of my bootlegs that did not play. So I was a little mad about that, but I bought the rest of the season on Amazon Prime and just watched it through there. So I was a little bit mad about that, but that's the only disc I've ever ran across in a bootleg that didn't play properly. From here on out until season 19, I'm 100% confident these are all real. So season 13 is the first without Christopher Meloni. A little bit different. I wasn't really sure how I felt about that at first, because Christopher Meloni is such an integral character to the show, but I really feel like it's just as good without him. And they added a couple really good characters with Detective Nick Amaro and Amanda Rollins, and those are two very memorable, interesting characters. So I've definitely warmed up to these few seasons here. So season 13, season 14 is the one that I'm currently watching. I'm almost finished with this season. Same cast pretty much from season 13. There's also a really interesting finale on season 13 that carries over into the season 14 premiere. And that was really interesting to me. Law & Order series as a whole, again, focuses very little on the characters themselves, but more on each individual case. And one of the things that it does really well is it kind of tackles controversial issues and discusses them through the lens of a court case. And so it's really great at its formula, but it has one specific formula that it follows almost every episode, which is also kind of why I like watching it, because I can kind of zone out and I don't have to pay as close attention to an episode of SVU as opposed to an episode of like Game of Thrones or something, where I feel like I need to almost take notes watching that show. This show I can kind of just like zone out, relax, which makes it the perfect thing to watch after a long day of work. But the season 13 and then season 14 premiere was kind of one of the few instances where the show really felt like it had a continuing story arc for a little while. There are small little story arcs kind of throughout this show, but they're only really hinted at. Very rarely do they go into excessive detail with that. And then there's season 15. Season 15 was the final season for Munch and Captain Cragen. They both retired in season 15, which is why they're not pictured on the front here. I believe Munch retired after 5 episodes of this season, and then Cragen, I think, quit in the middle of the season. So 2 characters that I'm really going to miss from this show, and I'm interested to see what it's like after they're gone. Season 16, I mean, by this point, it is just purely Mariska Hargitay's show. She's what's carrying it along, and I think, honestly, they'll probably continue to do the show as long as she wants to do it, frankly. Okay, season 17, we finally have a different style of box set. So those seasons 6 through 16 all had the same style of box set. They just changed the pictures and changed the colors. Starting with season 17, we have a thin box set. So this one comes with a slipcover. The actual case itself, not that much different. And then this one has the episode listing in the back, and then it has the individual discs on these little trays. So there's season 17. Season 17 is the only one that has a clear case. My season 18 copy, I don't know if they were all like this, but this was a manufacturer-on-demand release from Amazon. So there's no slipcover, black case. There's the back. And then a very plain inside disc with nothing, no inserts or anything. But I know this is authentic because I ordered straight from Amazon. No third-party sellers. So this is just a manufacturer-on-demand release. I'm assuming they were all like that. And then the last 3 seasons, I think these might be bootlegs, but if they continue in with the manufacturer-on-demand thing, maybe they're just bare-bones releases. I don't know. But anyway, there's the inside art for season 19. And then the rest of these are pretty much the same. So you've got season 20. And then season 21 is the one that broke the record. So the original Law & Order was 20 seasons long. It used to be the longest running show of all time. Primetime television, shall I say, drama series. And now, of course, SVU has that record. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. One of the reasons why I made it is not only to talk about the series, because I just don't talk about it on my other videos, but also because I've never seen anyone make a video like this. I looked to YouTube just scouring to see images of what these box sets look like when I was buying them, and there's nothing to be found almost. So I hope if you're interested in this series, interested in picking up some box sets, that this was of interest or some help to you, and just to share my love for the series. So I hope you all have an amazing day, and I will see you guys later. Bye.